Polina, and thank you for joining us at the Hotel Sync podcast. This brand of podcast that I am hosting, we call it Digital Strategies, mostly focusing on digital strategies in hospitality. And I want to let you introduce yourself and what you do. And I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be really, really excited when they hear how specific your part of tourism is.
So my name is Polina, as far as you know, and I'm a content creator, travel content creator, and I'm talking about how to travel on a budget, how to volunteer through different platforms, how to find a free accommodation and travel with a backpack that you don't need much to enjoy fullest.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I actually prepared like a question for you since you worked in social media and for hotels and accommodations. Like, what advice would you give to accommodations in Europe? What would you give them like as a one-off advice for social media?
Well, it depends on a place. It can be everything is different, like from Airbnb to hostels. And you just need to know your niche and you need to know what kind of people you want to attract to your place. And then you have to find, I think, people who are gonna, let's say I create UGC content for some hotels and hostels. So I know that I'm the definition of their like target audience. And that's why they choose me. So you need to choose someone who is, you want this person to stay at your place and they have to create content for you. Because other than that, it's just gonna not match the vibe. There are a lot of hotels that present themselves as very posh, but then they're the cheapest hotel. And yeah, just be friendly. Social media is very important. And people nowadays, I think, mostly looking through social media to choose a place where to stay. Content creators, UGC, and it's very important. I think it's the most important part now.
Yeah, I would agree because honestly, I wanted to tackle like two things that you mentioned. First of all was UGC creation, which I think now a lot of people actually understand what UGC creators are, what they actually do. And maybe you can like just bring us up on this and then like let's tackle it like even further.
So UGC is mostly based on, for example, I work with the hotel now in Serbia, and I create content for them, and they pay me for this just for have like POV from a guest. So not professional, the whole like drones, and they have professional cameras. iPhone is more than enough for creating content. And for example, I don't like to stay at places that post only drone pictures and very professional, like couple are smiling and kissing in the bathtub.
Yeah.
This is like, it's 2010.
It's disingenuous, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the age of AI where you can create any sort of photo you need or video.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. But so basically, I wanted to tackle that like UGC creation where on one hand, like it's a form of honest content. It's a form of like a customer success story. It's a form of like just your experience, what you can expect to get from this hotel through the language of social media, right? But what I wanted to tell you about is that I was recently in the States and I met this girl who works for an app. And her job is basically to manage social media creators, UGC creators, and they have the job to create UGC like realistic Instagram accounts or TikTok accounts where they would talk on around this one niche, for instance, love. So they would create this like presence on social media where they would talk about like, oh, I'm getting proposed, I'm getting engaged, I love my boyfriend, we just met, blah, blah, blah. And it would look really realistic. But in reality, they were getting paid really good money to be posting this. And they're not selling anything yet. They're just posting like something that seems genuine on social media. And at one point, they will introduce a problem in this relationship, which can be solved by this app. But we're talking about months and months of UGC creation. Somebody is paid for months to create something that looks really genuine and that's not immediately sales driven and then introduce that app. So we're inclined to believe that they're real people, but they're actually paid by this company. So at some point, UGC creators are also going to start looking disingenuous, as well as social media.
That's actually so scary.
It's so scary.
No,
Yeah,
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, and I met her like in real life. It's insane.
Ooh.
But it's only happening in the U.S. right now. It's not like, of course, I was the first one to say, like, can I do that? Can I be scamming people? Can I be part of the problem? You know, it's just like, no. I was like, okay.
No, that sounds so creepy. I never heard of it. I think that in American culture, it's now UGC in America is a big thing. In Europe, it's not a big thing.
What's the next step? That's what I want to ask, basically. What's the next step? What is going to be the next form that's going to be genuine? Once we figure out this has all been a lie, you know? What's going to be the next way we can show actually our experience in a hostel or hotel that's gonna be realistic?
I think that people who follow me, they feel like I'm their friend. And it's very nice because I can recommend something and they trust me. So I wouldn't recommend something that I don't use or I don't like. That's the whole point. And I mean, it's just like in every generation. It depends on the person, what you choose to do. If you choose to be like honest but poor or lie but be rich, you know, I'm choosing honest but poor. And I think this honesty is going to just raise you on social media at some point because AI is going to take everything and this fake like UGC and fake everything is going to, for people, it's just going to be annoying to see it every single day.
It's annoying me right now, to be honest. Like, I don't like seeing it on social media. I don't like, especially when I'm trying to book accommodation, I'm really annoyed. For me, instantly it looks cheap. If you're using AI, if you can't take your phone out, take a photo of your accommodation, I don't want to see a fake photo of the room. I want to see what's actually going to be the room. I'm trying to see where I'm staying, not where you want me to be staying, you know, how you wish the hotel looked like, you know.
Yeah.
but on the other hand, I do like hotel photography. I do photos of the rooms. I did a bunch of Photoshop during those photos, but I was never lying, you know. Those were all realistic photos of the room with small cleanups. Like, I would clean up, like, if the sheet was wrinkly, if this was out of place, I would add a flower here, a towel there, something like that. It would just add to the atmosphere of the room. I wouldn't be, like, lying. This is, like, going a bit further than anything else. And also, speaking of, I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think, what kind of content instantly feels like outdated or inauthentic when, like, hotels post on social media?
Let's say, to be honest, now I feel like, for example, Instagram, because I'm very focused on Instagram, not any other social media. I'm very bad with everything else. And when you can see that the quality is a bit different, if it's either too good or too bad, it's already you want to scroll it. Or some fonts or like very complicated editing. No one wants complicated editing right now because life is already complicated enough.
Yeah.
So everyone wants for it to be very simple. So when I post for some hotels, I'm just editing very like just a little bit, just a small touch of editing. And that's it. You don't put some very hard editing. You don't use some very complicated apps.
Right,
yeah. And you know this like neon font or the one that is like this.
Oh my God, that's so tacky.
Yes. And you just don't want to stay at this place because you're like, guys, it's what, 2016?
Yeah.
Well, it's too much already. So I think, yes, that's the most important. And second, not to base everything on one model. Because when there is a shooting with one model and the whole page is just one or two models and that's it, it looks very sad.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's why I think UGC now works very well. We're not talking about the one that you told me about.
The evil one. Not the evil one.
Not the evil one, for real. But I think it works very well because there are different people and you show how different people enjoy your place as it should be. And you don't like choose the model looking people. You choose like regular people. who are
Yeah.
just gonna stay at your place, and it's beautiful.
You stayed in like different kinds of accommodation, hotels, hostels, extended stays, co-living spaces, and you've seen like a variety of different accommodation all around the world. What is the biggest differences that you would say in how young travelers interact with these type of accommodations, like Gen Z, for instance? Do you think Gen Z travelers actually care about these trends, like about sustainability or the LGBTQ friendly mark on booking or something like that? Do you think they actually like look into that, or they're just choosing the accommodation that's the closest to the pub? I remember a time when we were really serious about those turtles, and everybody was drinking from soggy paper straws in every single restaurant. We were super serious about it. And nowadays, it's just like a buzzword that we use on Instagram, sustainability.
Yeah, I understand. I think that people, they do care about it. And of course, most of the people care about it. But I don't think that you check it before you check into the hostel, to be honest. So you usually choose a place. But let's say if it's some like Netherlands, for example, that it's gonna be LGBT friendly, that it's gonna be full, like they don't use plastic. But yeah, it's not in every country. It's still a privilege to live this kind of lifestyle. Not everyone can afford it. So in some countries, it's just impossible, to be honest. Unfortunately.
I can imagine. Well, speaking of going out of the European Union, you've recently traveled to Japan, right? You've traveled across Asia, or was it just Japan?
It was Japan, and then I traveled to China.
Amazing. I'm very interested because I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been an increase of Asian travelers, specifically in Europe right now. And that's, I think, because there's around 110 to 150,000 people entering the middle class every year in Asia, which means there's 110 to 150 people with disposable incomes who can afford to travel to Europe. So I think what we'll see in the future is an increase in Asian travelers visiting European hotels. And I don't know what you would give them as an advice, what they should expect of Asian travelers.
Well, Asia is a big thing. So it's very different countries. Even if you take Japan and China, it's just two different worlds. And they're very, very different, very unique. And Japanese people are very nice, and they're very polite, and they're going to respect all the rules. But I cannot say the same about China in perspective of like European people, because for us, some things that are polite for us are not polite for Chinese people, and opposite. And I think you just need to love people to work on hospitality nowadays.
That's true. That's what everybody says, like around here.
Yeah. So you need to, in Serbia, there are a lot of Asian tourists as well, especially from China.
Yeah.
And I was working in Chinese place, so I was talking to a lot of Chinese people. And most of the time, they don't speak English. And you need to be extra polite, and you need to show them that they can feel safe in this place, but still keep some boundaries, because something that they can do is not okay for you, and it's completely normal because we're from two completely different worlds. And yeah, just try to host Chinese influencers who are going to promote you on Red Note, and then every person is going to come to your place.
Oh, that's really interesting because they have a completely different set of social media and stuff like that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Polina. Thank you for joining us today to be our guest at this podcast. It was really interesting to hear your opinions, your experience so far, and everything else. So yeah, thank you. I hope we can travel together.
Definitely. Come to my next place where I'm going to volunteer.
Okay, deal. We're going to volunteer, but only if they use Hotel Sync at the front desk. Otherwise, I don't want to even talk there.
You can volunteer in Japan. Very cool. It's very cool.
Sure.
That's it. See you there.
See you there.